Okay, so today on Romanticism, GTLP, we're going to be talking about how three different works of romantic pieces really correlate to our daily life, what they are, and how they all relate to each other. The three works that we're going to be talking about today are Sleepy Hollow, a fantastic piece by Washington Irving, Nature by Ralph Waldo Emerson, and finally, we're going to be talking about The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. These three pieces have outlasted the test of time, and they've done so brilliantly. Okay? That's why we're going to be discussing each one individually, as I said before, a summary relevant to today, and a comparison to all three. And we're going to try and make it interesting. Here we go on GTBLT. Hi, I'm B. Rice Johnson. Thanks, Joe. And today we're going to be talking about the relevance today of the Legends of Sleepy Hollow. Well, the relevance today of the Legends of Sleepy Hollow is the national pride that the Legend of Sleepy Hollow conveyed that is relevant to today. We see that there's things like the FIFA World Cup, in which people are getting excited about a thing, maybe like soccer, that they aren't even really affiliated with or even like, but they still want to show their national pride through that kind of thing. Back to you, Joe. So, first we're going to be talking about Washington Irving's Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Now, this was an early romantic piece, so it focused on kind of the uniqueness of human nature and what it felt like to be an American, but it also focused on how people maybe weren't the best during their time and age. They focused on maybe how humans maybe had a basic flaw, but it focused on also how maybe we still have maybe light at the end of the tunnel that we can all look forward to, if that makes any sense. So that's what the early romantics kind of main idea was. They loved journeys and quests, and the idea that one has to look through things and focus on their own will and be empowered to be able to succeed. Now, to our literature piece of early romantics. That literature piece that we talked about was Washington Irving's Legend of Sleepy Hollow. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow is about a man named Ichabod who falls in love, per se, with a lovely lady. This lovely lady had a very, very rich father, and due to periods and times, if the man were to marry the woman, then he would inherit the wealth that she had. So Ichabod only liked the girl because she had a substantial amount of wealth. Now, enter Boone. Boone also fell in love with Katrina, the man that Ichabod has fancies, and he threatens to really almost kill Ichabod if he doesn't kind of get out of town. This has caused Ichabod to get really scared and kind of almost going away for hiding for a little bit in fear of Broom. Okay? And then finally, Ichabod is invited to a party that Katrina is hosting. Ichabod really, really likes Katrina because of her money, of course. So he actually proposes to Katrina, but Katrina actually denies him, and she dumps him because she likes Broom. Okay. So we're going to kind of wrap this one up with kind of a bang as Ichabod left the party. This is kind of where the Headless Horseman aspect comes in, the mysteriosity of the early Romantic era. So a Headless Horseman comes in and actually chases Ichabod away and throws a pumpkin at Ichabod, which knocks him off his horse, which we don't really know if he dies or not. The story says that he went off to become a lawyer or something like that, but we really don't know if that's true. And we don't really know if this Headless Horseman is real, or if it's just kind of Broom kind of trying to get back at Ichabod for not really listening to him, for not really trying to stay away from his girl Katrina. Now we're going to go to our silent reporter, B. Rice Johnson, to see how it's relevant today. The next thing we're talking about is Nature by Emerson. Nature by Ralph Waldo Emerson, is a classic piece in which kind of portrays how nature, you just have to go out in nature to experience the things around you and take in kind of what is happening everywhere around you. You just kind of got to relax and not worry about the little things. It's kind of what it tries to portray in the story. I find this kind of a very transcendentalist piece, as it kind of focuses on that humans are inherently bright and humans are inherently good. But, however, that kind of misses the human concept that humans are also evil, which kind of is impacted by the Civil War and after the Civil War, which then leads to our Gothic vision we'll talk about next. And well, this nature kind of element is very relevant in kind of even our everyday society, in things such as yoga, hiking, like even going to parks and recreational facilities. It's kind of just a God-given fact that if you go out in nature, you're going to feel more relaxed and more tranquil with your life after you're done with such things like that. It's kind of just the idea of thinking, about what you're doing in life is kind of what nature's kind of trying to impose. The quote I really like is, "I'm a transparent eyeball." And the transparent eyeball kind of idea to it means that he wants God to flow through him, even though he feels like he is nothing. He's a part of God. Well, the final thing that we wanted to kind of talk about was how it's relevant to the legend of Sleepy Hollow, and that's nature. Nature is a lot different from Legend of Sleepy Hollow in that nature thought everything was the best in life. And Legend of Sleepy Hollow really didn't. It kind of thought, well, humans are good, but are bad, but they can kind of be good. Whereas Transcendentalists thought, oh, that person's automatically good. And that's kind of how the two kind of intertwine. The kind of the relevance of this is went from early Romantics to Transcendentalists to Gothics. We went from kind of in between the two to extreme good to extreme bad. And I kind of think the major cause of that is the Civil War and sectionalism between the North and the South. That's kind of what led to that happening in the future. Okay, B. Rice Johnson's going to finish up on this one, okay? So, finally we're going to be talking about the fall of the House of Usher, and that is our final Gothic piece. Okay, we're going to do a summary real quick. Okay, so there's a guy named Roderick, okay? He is our main character in this story. He's in the house of the usher of his past, who is his past like friend, and he owned the house previously. Now Roderick owns the house, okay? And Roderick claims that he's going mad because his past sister Madeline has been taken captive by the house and is screaming, "Please, please let me free, please let me free." And then one day, while the narrator is reading a story, kind of a mysterious story, the narrator starts to hear the sounds too. And then Roderick screams, "She's at the door," and he points to the door, and then opens the door, and in comes Madeline in a white gown and a bloody shirt. Then Madeline kills Roderick, and the narrator flees the house, and as he is fleeing, the house collapses in on itself. So this is a kind of our Gothic piece, because it represents how things are more decaying, things are more collapsing upon themselves, and people are descending into madness. Okay, and there's also an allegorical climax for the whole entire story, which is a main part to pretty much all Gothic pieces. In addition, Gothic pieces are more interested in actions. That's the reason for maybe the house collapsing or Madeline killing Roderick in the story. They're more focused on action as opposed to, say, the emotions or the background of the characters. So, that's it for today. Hopefully you bring us next time on Romanticism, BGLT. See you next time.